Hey guys, and hello to Tara. Nice to see you guys here
Hello.
for our Golden Nugget Business Talk show today. We were
Oh,
just chatting before we came live and saying how pertinent this week's topic is, because we are both exhausted and we're going through a lot independently, and we had that whole conversation today of should we go ahead, feeling really run down, and then Tara pointed out what the topic was, and we're like, all right, this is being committed in action. So
mm.
what I'm going to do is I'm
Mm-hmm.
just going to quickly edit this. This is so cool. All right. So this is being 100% committed.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
interesting when you posted this up and you showed me the quotes, because again, we're going from the top 50
Yeah.
inspirational business quotes and we're dissecting them. And so this one, a couple of things came up. One, I am in agreement. You need to be 100% committed. But the first kind of question that came to my mind was, what? Like, what are you committed to? Are you committed to serving? Are you committed to showing up? Are you committed to being consistent? Are you committed to
Mm,
excellence? Are you committed to success? Are you committed to money? Like, to making money? Again, it's not bad. None of these are right or wrong, but it's like I think it's more important to, rather than go, oh yeah, I'm committed to this business and making it work. It's like, let's get more specific. What are you committed to? Because on days like this, which happen where you don't feel like working, or where nothing seems to be working or going your way or gelling, or there's just, you're feeling overwhelmed or down, there's personal stuff, there's business stuff, like when shit hits the fan,
mm.
you need to have that thing that you are committed to,
Yeah.
to go, actually, you know what, I said I was committed to showing up. Like, I know this is something I've been diving into, and Sandy, you and I constantly have talks about this. Like, what are we committed
Yeah.
to? And you and I are both equally place value on showing up and serving, like in whatever capacity that is. Like, that's a really big value of both of us that we share. And
Yeah.
so hence why, you're feeling flat. But I was like, we got to do this. We got to, and I think it's
Yeah.
fine to show that sometimes you're a bit blur. So
Yeah.
commitment doesn't always mean like, yeah, cheerleader, rah, rah. And I love the image that you've got of that superhero woman. I mean, fuck, I wish I had her waist, but even though I don't look like that, but it's conjuring that picture in your mind and going, no, that's it. Like, that's what I'm committed to, showing up and serving in
Mm.
whatever capacity that looks like. And I'm going to do my best. That's what I'm committed to. And if I achieve literally nothing else, which I can tell you today, I have achieved nothing else except showing up on this today, then great. That's something. So I think it's important for people to really understand and hang on to what are they committed to,
Yeah.
and that's going
Yeah.
to help.
So, for those of you who have not watched our show before, and also
Oh,
hello to
where have you
our
been?
Twitch viewers, hello to our Periscope viewers, hello to our YouTube guys, and our Facebook guys. It's so nice to see you guys again. So, what we're doing is we are making our way through the top 50 inspirational business quotes, and kind of picking out the golden nuggets that we can find in these quotes and see if they're bullshit or if they're truth. So this is our one for today. So let's have a look.
Mm-hmm.
When you are building a startup, it's difficult, particularly a startup that is expanding at the rate of Tinder. You have to give 100% and you have to be committed. Solving the problem has to be personal, or else you're going to disintegrate. And that is Sean Rad, co founder of Tinder. So you were saying something to me about this just before we went live. So could you just reiterate what you had said? And
Oh, whoops, sorry. Yes, I was saying, I mean, so what I said at the start, the other thing I find is interesting is, this is a guy. writing this. I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know anything about the Tinder startup guy. But whether, as in, does he have a family, a wife, a girlfriend, a boyfriend? You know, like, I don't know anything like that. But I always find it interesting that a lot of these be committed, hard hustle, rah, rah kind of shit, go all in stuff, messages are from men. And I think, what a fucking luxury they have. You know, what a fucking luxury to go all in, to be fully 100% committed. Why? Because they've got fucking nothing else to do. Because no one expects anything out of a man, right? Men are actually encouraged to live for themselves and put themselves and their goals first. They are actively encouraged from young boys to put themselves first. So, you know, whenever I see a guy having a successful business, again, I know the hard work and the effort that goes into it. And yes, I want to say congrats to anyone who has done that. But at the same time, I think, well, again, you're a man. You literally had nothing else to do.
I know.
So
I hear you as a mother that has raised.
You've got nothing else to do. Yeah, exactly.
With my company, I do get it. Like, I kind of have a moment of jelly because we have not had the same luxury on lack of time constraint. But devil's advocate, those people, because I mean, look, there are some women that choose to not have kids and put their career first. That decision comes with its own loss. So either that person, whoever puts themselves into something 150%, they either lose out on seeing their children growing up, or they never have kids, or they never have any other responsibility. So I think everything has a price. But I totally get you, and I get you with the whole hoo-ha posters, you know, and it can definitely grind my gears a little bit there. But let's have a look at it, right? So I'm going to bring it up again. Let's break it up and look for some golden nuggets here. Okay. So the first line, when you're building a startup, it's difficult. Okay, that's a given. It's unless you literally have $1 billion and daddy's the prime minister, any startup, it's going to take a lot of hard work to begin with. I love how he throws a flex in there, the expanding at the rate of Tinder. Like, my company growing like a balloon right now. Like, okay.
Really, especially when you're as awesome as me.
Yeah.
This is the
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, you do, absolutely. And this is, I said at the start, like, what are you committed to? Are you committed to growth? Are you committed to the success of this thing? Are you committed to solving the problem which your business is set up around? Do you know what I mean? Like, in which case, then you will stay committed as well, because when the going gets tough, which it will, like, startup is difficult. I mean, difficult, I think, is also an understatement. Like, it's hard because even when, and I've seen this before, when businesses get onto a good thing, like Tinder, like Canva, like fucking Facebook, you know, all of these sort of key, really now big companies, they were all startups at one stage, and it just happened to work out. I would say every startup, every founder works their butt off, and some are just expand at a slower rate than others, and some kind of go up and then they go down and they go up. Like, it's kind of all over the place. But these ones, when they do catch on, it's hard. It's got to be hard. They're kind of going faster than anyone ever expected, and they've got to try and keep up. So all of a sudden, yes, you do have to give 100%. Be fully committed, because this thing is growing, and you, like, so many founders say, I was just trying to keep up. I'm just trying to make rapid fire decisions. And that is challenging in and of itself. Absolutely. And I've seen so many businesses that, again, they're like, I didn't even really know what we had, and people just started paying for it and buying it, and it took off, and they're like, holy shit, you know.
You hear that a lot, especially with the big companies. It's almost like they're caught by surprise, the success of the company. And I suppose in that way, it's good to kind of hear what people who've been in that situation have said to keep themselves going. So I just want to pull it up here quickly. It's interesting what he says. So now you already mentioned on the have to give it 100%, you have to be committed. That's giving, everyone's 100% is different. So that's one thing I want to just say to people watching. If you have your own business, your 100% is not another person's 100%. You might be a mum, you might be a nana, you might be a dad, you might have huge commitments in your life, and you will give the percentage that you can give, and that will be your 100%. Part of that, you have to be reminded of the need to look after yourself as well, your mental health, your physical health, nutrition, well-being, mental well-being. If you're going to give 100% of yourself, you're going to fall apart. There has to be a percentage left over for yourself. So I see what he's saying, but he's also talking crap, because if he had given 100%, he'd be in a mental asylum. So everyone 100% is different. Don't hold yourself to someone else. You're not someone else. You are a unique and creative individual, and your 100% is enough. So you just have to stick with it and just be consistent. I kind of prefer be 100% consistent while also looking after yourself, because even then, everyone is, bloody hell, I'm a guru, but I'm failing at this. So not everyone is even consistent. I mean, I think that the point is that you've got to try. You've got to try. Consistent and committed.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like that word consistent better than committed. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And then the next section is solving the problem. So the problem is whatever challenge that your business is currently facing. It can be too little Wi-Fi, it can be connectivity issues, it can be transport issues. You might not have the language skills needed to promote your business. It's any challenge that is making you feel like you're looking at an uphill slope. Okay. Then he says it has to be personal. So you can't treat your job, if you're a startup, you can't treat your job as this other entity. He's saying you have to really own it. It's got to be part of you. And that ownership of it will motivate you to do more and nourish it more and get it growing. So I do get it. But again, I'm born in October, guys. I'm always going to balance the scales. You also need to have time when you disconnect from your business. You have to switch off that computer sometimes. You've got to put off the phone sometimes and stop. For so many years, I was just running. Every minute I was awake, I was pushing, promoting, connecting, networking back home in South Africa. It was exhausting and it was not healthy. Now I only really promote the shows once they're up. I put them up and then I forget about them until I get that little reminder to say I got to go do a show. I'm not pushing, I'm not hustling, I'm just letting it be. So what do you think about that, T?
No, I agree. I mean, I can see both sides, because, you know, in my first business, again, I was single. I had, I was living with my boyfriend at the time, but I didn't have any kids. And I was 150% committed, all in on my business, fucking hard hustle. I worked 24/7. If I could have worked 25/7, I fucking would have. You know, I was in it on the weekends. Every second of every day was dedicated to my business, and my business grew. And it grew really quickly, and it was doing really well on the outside. And on the outside, I ticked all the boxes of success. But particularly in the last 18 months, I started spiraling out of control, because like we just said, you know, you can't just give out 100% and not take something back for yourself, or not sort of nourish yourself. So I burnt the fuck out. I burnt out, and my passion burnt up, you know, my passion for what I was doing. And I was like, so why am I doing it? I don't understand. Is this all there is? I'm working my butt off For what? And
For what?
physically, mentally, and emotionally, I was exhausted. I was wiped. I had nothing left to give. It was such a bad space to be in. You know, my relationships suffered hugely. I, ended up splitting with my partner and selling my business and going off to Africa because I was looking for meaning and purpose. So, yes, being committed and consistent, but like you were saying, you've got to do it in a way that works for you and in a way that can nourish you. Because if you are not nourished, if you are burnt out, if you are strung out, then guess what? Your business isn't fucking going anywhere. You know, it doesn't matter how popular or how great it is. Nothing's happening. So I agree. And again, yes, the problem and the reason why you're in your business, it is, most of us, it starts off as personal. We're trying to solve a problem that we have and we want to help other people, whether it's a service or a product. But again, if you're just constantly giving, which I understand there are like little sprints where you might just have to sort of burn, but it's definitely not a long-term strategy, like we're saying. And again, now being a mom, now being on the other side of it, the last 3 years, my biggest challenge has been relearning how to work. I'm good at the hard hustle, tick, got that. I know how to do that. I know how to burn myself out, tick. But, again, no one benefits from me being burnt out. I just cannot work in that way. So, yeah, for me, it's been now on the other side. Now I've got other really important responsibilities that aren't going away. My business is just one of them. I have, 3 other people that are heavily reliant on me. And so I've got to find a different way. So it doesn't mean that I'm less committed. And so I still think my commitment level, like we're talking about, is still 100%. It definitely, though, doesn't show up in the same way. How I express that commitment is so completely different to how I expressed it before. Right.
We've got a comment, and I'd like to put up on the screen that we can chat about through one of our Twitch viewers. Nelson,
love Twitch.
Says, being a mom is overrated, though. So if
Nelson, are you a mom?
I would love you to.
And do you have a mom?
Another sentence. I'd love to hear more. I think, in a way, yes, it is. It's pushed onto people. I know there's a lot of pressure on women to be mothers, and it's this huge, glorious role that is taken on. And the reality is, it is a wonderful thing. It's a privilege to raise kids, but it takes a huge chunk out of your life. It's at least 12 to 15 years that you are walking impaired, unless you are the kind of mom who is okay with leaving your kids at daycare from morning till night, which is also fine if that's how you are. But for those mums who choose to play a very active role in the upbringing of their kids, it takes a huge chunk out of your week, and it makes it very hard to run a business. Tara and I both have different stories, but by necessity alone, we've had to work hard and run our own businesses, and we've worked in businesses all around the world, both of us. So now that we're mums, it is limiting. Definitely limiting.
It is. Yeah, on that physical side, like we were talking about, physically time-wise is now spread a lot thinner. But I also go to the mental and the emotional. I mean, especially after my kids were born, you've got so many different chemicals running through your body. It changes your brain.
Yeah,
it changes your brain. And it probably took me until my daughter was 2 and my son was like 3 or 4 until I kind of felt like, okay, I'm mentally, I feel like I'm kind of coming back to myself.
Yeah,
because of the sleep exhaustion, because for me, it was completely earth-shattering. Like everything that I knew of who I was and how I was just flipped upside down. That any rule books that I had were thrown out the window as soon as these little people showed up. So I think we often forget the mental and emotional experience of having children. And I've got to say, I think every mum can relate. And anyone who's not a mum, I get it. You've got no fucking clue. Like literally, and I can say that from as someone who wasn't a mom, I can say I had no fucking clue. No fucking clue. And now being a mum, holy shit, it's a whole nother world. But that could be said about people, you know, again, people who, like, I don't own pets. I know people who are just so in love with their pets and their animals. Again, I could place all kinds of judgment on them because I don't have pets. I don't know that experience. So to have such an intelligent comment thrown up.
All right. So we just need to look at that last little thing now. So I was already touching on the fact that if you don't look after yourself and if you put pressure on yourself to give 100% instead of the 100% that you can give, it says here, or else you're going to disintegrate. I think in this case, he's personalizing that business. It should say, or else the business will disintegrate. Because I think if you do give 100% of yourself, you will disintegrate because you need to be able to sleep and eat and exercise and meditate and, you know, spend time with family and friends. Like there has to be balance. That's my whole harp, because I am a Libra. I want balance in everything. So yeah, it's important.
Well, in terms of long-term sustainability, like we've been saying, for self and for business or any project that you've got going on, we've got to start working in a way that is sustainable. And yes, sure, there are periods where you have to push a little bit harder. You got to stay up later. You know, you might need to, like in university or when you're studying, you've got the exams coming up. So sometimes you'll have to pull an all-nighter. Once or twice, okay, it's not ideal, but sometimes we've just got to do that shit. Okay, but that is not a long-term strategy. That is not how we need to work all the time. So like you were saying, sometimes it's a little busy, you got to push a little harder, and then other times you can, to bring the balance back, relax. Like you can, oh my God, sit and do nothing. Like that's okay. And I mean, I say that as someone who very much struggles to sit and do nothing and allow myself to do nothing and just lap that up. But to bring that balance back, we can work in that way as well. But everything we do, we've got to look at it, what is sustainable in the long term? How can we work in a way for ourselves and for our businesses, for our families, that is sustainable in the long term? Because no one wants, you know, just a one night thing, you know, an extreme high and then crashing down, right? We don't want that. So working in a long-term sustainable way and having strategies to do that absolutely is important.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that's all we have time for today. I reckon we got a couple gold nuggets out of that quote. Thank you, Tara, for your opinion. Guys, everything we say up here is our opinion, which we are entitled to. It will not necessarily be your opinion or your life experience. But I really do love getting messages. I love seeing comments and interactions during and after our shows. So if you have some thoughts, if you have something to say or something you believe in, you can post in the comments and we will get back to you as soon as we can. This is a conversation that I think is important to have. Both of us are small business owners. We've lived this life. We've walked this talk. And our focus obviously is from a mother-centered point of view because that is our lived experience. All right. So, guys, have a wonderful day. I am going to hop on out now, and I hope that you guys have had a good time with us. Take care.